Hi, my name is Skyler Mott. I'm a senior at Lehigh University studying business and cognitive science, and I'm on the track and field team. My passion for business comes from my love for solving problems. I started playing chess when I was 4 years old. I just love to solve problems, and I love to see the impact that things that I do can have on my community and the people that are around me. I come from a big family. I've got 5 siblings. My whole life has been about leading by example and showing them that certain things are possible when they didn't necessarily believe it was. So my whole identity has been tied to that ability and that belief that I can create things in spaces that people don't really think are possible. So my passion for business, my passion for, I guess, the things that I've started all come from that belief that I can just help people.
So Skyler is probably in the category of what we call, or what I like to think is like once of a lifetime gifted thinker and gifted athlete. And it's actually very surprising and entertaining and exciting all at the same time. He showed up to us as a walk-on who knew he wanted to do this and loves a great challenge. So he's very driven. He loves to do his own thing. He does value his teammates and others, but more than anything, he's got like this internal hunger that doesn't turn off. So if you don't feed that beast, like Skyler finds things to do. So it's really important to make sure, like, even if that's like a new drill, a new camera angle, like a new way for him to compete against himself, that's the thing that's really exciting about Skyler as a person.
The first company I started is called Mott Campus Rentals. During my sophomore year, I realized that I'd have to live off campus, so I was looking at properties. Soon I realized that the price was really high, and I decided to go on Zillow. On Zillow, I realized that the cost of a mortgage was the same as the cost to rent out a property. So I decided from that moment that I was going to buy one. Now, I took some time, I did some research, and I probably made the purchase a little bit too soon before learning everything that I could, but I made it happen, and I bought that first house. I then spent the entire summer fixing up the property, putting in new floors, painting the walls, putting up blinds, setting it up, getting it ready for people who are going to live there next year. Me and a few of my friends, of course. But yeah, it was probably one of the best experiences of my life. Probably the favorite thing I've done at Lehigh, and it quickly expanded. I went on and got another property and then another property, and now in the process of hopefully securing a larger deal, but more to come on that. The second company I started was originally called Mountain Movers, but is now called Dorm to Door. So this was my freshman year, actually. I had a couple of close friends who all were not local to Lehigh. They were from California, some of them were from Guam. But as the year's quickly coming to a close, they realized they'd accumulated all these items, whether that's mattress, bed frame, sheets, mirrors, etc. People accumulate stuff. And now as the year comes to an end, they have to do something with those things. It gives them 2 options. The first one is to ship it all home, which doesn't really make sense because 3 months later, you're gonna have to ship it all back and move it into that new place. The second option is to throw out the items, but these things have value, these things have meaning. They've been used to decorate your room, and it is you. So people don't want to do that either. That's where Dorm to Door comes into play. We give you boxes, storage, boxes, tape, supplies, anything you could possibly need to store your items. You pick the day, we show up, pick up all your items, and keep it for the summer. Then when you come back in August, you pick the location and the date, and your stuff will be waiting for you at your door. That's gone pretty well. We started at Lehigh, we've expanded to Lafayette, Holy Cross, now University of Southern Carolina. Well, I will say the biggest challenge that I face when it comes to creating a business is that I tend to be overly ambitious. So I see a problem and I think that, you know, I can solve this, I can make this happen. For example, with the house, with the first property I bought, I said, yeah, like, you know, it's gonna cost me this much for the mortgage, therefore I can afford it. That's not necessarily true. There are a lot of things that go into it that you'd never think about. Something that I definitely should have thought about was, for example, like installing a washer dryer. A house needs a washer dryer. And that was a cost in my head that I should have accounted for that I didn't necessarily do. And I'd say there are a few examples of me doing that throughout my career within businesses where I've been a little bit too ambitious and then had to fight for my life. But wouldn't have changed it for the world, and sometimes that's the best part about starting a business, is not knowing you don't know if it's going to work. And that's the best part. That's what's so thrilling, is it may not be successful, but it might be. So it's like, it's great.